you, Oscar. Hello, it's very nice to coming back because I still remember when I was in batch 12 and everybody started, pitching, and I totally forgot what I was supposed to say because at that time I'm thinking about, like what kind of people are they? Like, are they really look at me like seriously? Like all of that questions. So I would say that the batch 15, the batch 14, they're doing really good because back in batch 12, like 4 out of 6, I think we lost what it's supposed to say, and we didn't stick with William's script. So William took like 3-4 days to write all the script, but nobody remembered it, and everybody say whatever they wanted to say. So you guys are good, you guys are very good. Okay, so today my topic is what Chinese Beijing tells us to build a startup. So actually, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I had 4-5 different companies, and after 5 different trips, I started thinking I spend the same time, I spend the same hard working. I work 14-18 hours per day. But there's companies are stay on, and there's companies that success very, very much, and was companies that are failed. So I don't understand why. So I started learning Beijing. I started learning the Chinese culture, and something actually really tells me. So a little bit myself. I graduated from U.S. For finance. So I started working in PwC U.S. For 2 years, and then I realized that I think I was born for entrepreneur. So I come back to China and started my first company. And on 2010, is when my first company is called Palmap. That was 4 months earlier than Google indoor map. So what we do is we draw the indoor map and we send over to Baidu map. So Baidu afterwards, after an hour, after a year, Baidu acquire us. Baidu map acquire us. So that was my first experience of being entrepreneur and successfully being acquired. And since 2012, so after being a big company, I started thinking that maybe I want to do something more. I want to do something interesting. So I started the Roseonly. So Roseonly is, if you live in China more often, then you probably know that that's one of the very high-end flower e-commerce brand. So what we do is we're selling true love. So we create a slogan called "One Person, One Rose Only," which means that for a guy, if you want to buy a flower to a female, and in Roseonly you only can buy female, only one female for your lifetime. So we don't sell others creepy things. We sell very expensive, high-end, imported flowers. And for one box of the flower, we sold 1,000 yuan. 1,000 yuan. Versus if you buy across the street, that would be 100 yuan. So that's a very successful brand in China. And right now we are global. We have Hong Kong. We have London shop as well. So that was a really different experience for me to building a brand, down from zero. And after Roseonly being 1 or 2 years, and I was thinking that our business model is pretty clean. So online we're selling the brands, we're selling the true love. But offline we started having the shops, the actual shops in different cities. So at that time we had every month we have new cities shop opening. So that was really, really quick before 2014. And so I feel that was a really stable business model. And at that time that, we're making a lot of money. So we reached 3 rounds, from A to A, B, and C. And I left after C+. It's because there's a lot of investment to jump in. And then you have a lot of responsibilities to do. So that was not something that I wanted to do at the very beginning. So I started another one, which is 2014. So 2014, I was joined Huobi Exchange, which is the blockchain exchange, #1 exchange in China right now, and I think it's like top 10 in global. So at that time, Huobi was wanting to do the global exchanges. So I have no idea what is blockchain. I don't even know how to use VPN at that time. So Huobi was the blockchain leader, pioneer in China, and I was honored to be the oversea exchanges leader. So I helped Huobi to start building the blockchain exchange in US in 2014. And seems like I would say that at that time the price is like really, really low. It's like a couple of hundreds. I got some, luckily, and I forgot the password, unluckily. But still, I believe I am still a Bitcoin believer right now. So that's why. So I think I'm thinking that in 2017, and I was thinking wanting to do something combine the blockchain and the e-commerce, because I had the experiences with Roseonly and I had experience with the blockchain exchange. So that's why I started thinking to do the VeeShop. So so this is something that I did in the past. So from what I learned, there is a 5 most important roles for managing the startups. So #1. So I learned this is because I started learning the Chinese culture, and then the fire, the earth, and the metal, the water, and the wood. That's the 5 elements, right? So actually, the Chinese culture in the past, so 5,000 years ago, they actually tells us how to do it. So the fire is actually passion. So first, to have a fire in your company, which means passionate about what you do. And the earth is actually, it's something that you grow everything on the earth, right? So the earth is actually the mother. In China, it's called the mother of you. So the earth actually tolerates a lot. So you need to base on a very solid business model. So I had another one company startup that was failed. It's only because it's not because I don't work hard. It's not because I don't have an investment or I don't have a very good team. It's only because I don't have a very solid business model. So if you wanted to start a startup and you have a lot of funding raised, just make sure that you have a really solid business model. And another one will be water. So water is actually in Chinese, it's called cai, which means money. So you wanted to make money. Everybody wanted to make money, but the money is not the purpose. It's only the results. So for example, I had when I joined before I joined a batch 12, I was pregnant 5 months. 5 months. Yeah. So when I was pregnant at 5 months, what did I do? I go to see William. It's not because William is the father, it's because at that time, William was asking that what I do. I was thinking about building my own company, VeeShop. So that's why I make appointment with William. I had a really quick meeting with Oscar as well. Until now, they know that I was pregnant and that I didn't tell them because it didn't look like that. But that was a really successful meeting. William tells me that, what he thought about my program. And it's not because, SOSV is something different in China. I highly believe that, it's one of my second, it's my second family in China. It's because not only they gives you money, but also they teach you how to doing business in the right way. So I had a very successful company. A lot of people ask me why you take money. I think it's because I like the way that they teach me. In China, there's no mentorship. In China, you had a lot of money, you had a lot of experience of startup, but you don't have a mentor. So I like the mentor program here. So that's why I took the money from SOSV, and turns out it's very good. And after to deliver the baby, I joined the program right away. And then after 3 months, after the demo day, you know, like you have to have a demo day after you graduate. And then after the demo day, I think within 3 months, I had you know, investment later on. So which is, turns out that you give in a lot of efforts. You use money in a good way, not a purpose, but you trying very hard, and then the money comes to you as a result. And then the very last one is the wood. So I wanted to say about this. Positive with who you work with. I had a really bad problem at the very beginning, before. In my first 2 companies, is because I'm a very strict people. I strict to myself. I'm also strict to all of my team. A lot of people are doing great. They're trying their best, but from my my view, I still think that they're not good enough. So I had a really bad problem with the team. So I work hard. So I think that they're supposed to work hard. So I'm a CEO. So I thought that they should take the ownership to become an owner of the company. But this is all wrong. So if you're a CEO, don't expect that your employee are having the ownership as a CEO. They are the employee. They come here, take money, and they do what you ask them to do. So started thinking that your employee are actually are the people who believes your company first. And then you started teaching them how to become ownership, how to become a partner, how to work with you in a good way, how to grow up fast. So what I do in the company right now, that I started learning this from a really hard lesson, and then I started telling myself that, you know, look at people, look at the employee in a very good way. They are the best. They already trying their best to work with you. And it's all of my responsibility to teach them better. Okay? So the very last one on the list, the only resource of knowledge is experience from Einstein. So I really believe that experience is something that you are not gonna regret in your whole life. So when I was like, you know, when I'm 60 or 70, when I wanted to tell the story to my child, to my grandchild, I wanted to say that I'm experienced very well. I had a really colorful life being an entrepreneur. Thank you very much.